Hi friends. I'm Olivia Smith. Thanks for visiting my YouTube channel where I share the latest global news every day. You can also read more news on TimeGlitter.com. You can find all the links in the video description below. Friends, don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment, share with others, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Now let's jump into today's news. News headline: Alabama IVF ruling leaves Republicans stuck between their base and the broader public. News details: Republicans are feeling pressure as they navigate between their anti-abortion supporters and the broader American population. This comes after a controversial ruling by the Alabama Supreme Court declaring embryos as extrauterine children, causing ongoing debate for a second week. At the same time, Democrats have taken advantage of the situation, seeing it as the inevitable outcome of years of Republican efforts to limit reproductive rights. They are now highlighting contraceptives as the potential next target for restrictions. Republicans are in a tough spot because they're closely tied to the anti-abortion movement, which they really rely on for support, explained Mary Ziegler, a legal expert from the University of California, Davis. She added, "They can't win elections without the votes from anti-abortion supporters. The fallout from this issue is expected to last throughout the week. Senator Tammy Duckworth is pushing for a vote on a bill to protect IVF procedures under federal law, which has made Republicans uncomfortable. For instance, when asked if embryos should be considered children, Republican Senator Joni Ernst responded cautiously, saying, "I don't want to say they're not children." There's also been significant grassroots opposition. Families and advocates plan to rally at the Alabama state capitol against the recent state Supreme Court decision. Additionally, U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Xavier Becerra is set to join families affected by the ruling in Alabama. More and more Americans report knowing someone who has used fertility services, and most women in the U.S. say they've received advice on fertility, according to the Pew Research Center. Democrats are also trying to link Alabama's IVF ruling to potential restrictions on birth control, a move that could distance voters. Almost all Republicans opposed a bill aimed at safeguarding contraception immediately after the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022. Susan DelBene, chair of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, criticized Republicans for their stance, stating that their positions are unpopular. She expressed confidence that Democrats would regain control of the House of Representatives in November to secure Roe protections permanently. Last week, chaos ensued in Alabama's assisted reproductive treatment clinics after the state Supreme Court's decision to label IVF embryos as extrauterine children. This decision led to treatment pauses in 3 out of 8 clinics, leaving hopeful parents with limited options and significant emotional and financial strain. The court's decision, aligning embryos with the rights of children, a concept central to the anti-abortion movement's fetal personhood ideology, raised numerous uncertainties regarding IVF procedures. Key issues included whether destroying genetically abnormal embryos would be considered wrongful death, potential liability for doctors in case of embryo failure, and the possibility of individuals being compelled to implant all created embryos. Some clinics halted treatments due to concerns about potential legal consequences for doctors. Additionally, a company that transports frozen embryos announced a pause in its services in Alabama, making it harder for couples to move embryos out of the state. The aftermath of these actions, disruption in the industry, sadness among families, and frustration among medical professionals, has pleased anti-abortion groups, staunch supporters of fetal personhood. In contrast, Republicans, closely aligned with this movement despite lacking widespread public support, have been backtracking. The Christian legal organization Alliance Defending Freedom hailed Alabama's decision as a tremendous victory for life. Lila Rose, president of one of the nation's largest anti-abortion advocacy groups, Live Action, called it an important step towards applying equal protection for all. Republicans have struggled to respond, attempting to express support for IVF while avoiding scrutiny of their past actions against it. In Florida, right-leaning lawmakers postponed a personhood bill due to the fallout. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville faced difficulties when questioned about the IVF ruling. Republican Governors Bill Lee of Tennessee, Brian Kemp of Georgia, and Chris Sununu of New Hampshire, along with former President Donald Trump, expressed their backing for IVF treatments following the Alabama court decision. Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers in Alabama are collaborating on a bill to safeguard IVF procedures. However, Republicans' efforts to distance themselves from the decision are complicated, especially considering that all of Alabama's Supreme Court justices are Republicans. Many staunch supporters of Trump, particularly evangelical Christians, often endorse the concept of personhood, which advocates for giving fertilized eggs the same rights as individuals. Trump appointed 3 conservative justices to the U.S. Supreme Court, who played a role in overturning Roe v. Wade, thus influencing the Alabama ruling. One of these justices, Amy Coney Barrett, publicly supported an organization advocating for criminalizing the disposal of embryos in IVF. Throughout their time in office, Republicans at both state and federal levels have consistently supported the anti-abortion movement, recognizing its significance in energizing and mobilizing voters. Any significant opposition to the fundamental principles of the ruling, especially regarding personhood, could jeopardize this support base. According to Ziegler, Republicans cannot simply dismiss the concerns of the anti-abortion movement without risking their political support. Friends, don't forget to hit the like button, drop a comment, share with others, and subscribe.